Good evening, everyone. Let's call this meeting to order at 5:34 p.m. on July 14th, 2026. Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call to ascertain a quorum?
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina,
Here.
Vice Chair Heather Anderson,
Here.
and Secretary Dottie McKinney here.
Yes, Jan and Bill will not be attending this evening, but we do indeed have a quorum. And let's go right into the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Oh,
allegiance to the
to
flag
the
of the
flag.
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Well, I'm looking at the attendees. We have Sammy who's filling in for Whitney. So we will open it up for public comment, but I don't see any public here who wishes to comment, unless Sammy, you want to chime in about something on the agenda that you're not already going to be chiming in on the agenda. All righty. Public comment is open and closed. May I please have let me motion to approve this evening's current agenda? A second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Miss Heather. Any discussion about this evening's agenda, folks? Very good. Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve this evening's current agenda?
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Vice Chair Heather Anderson,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Fantastic. The agenda is approved. And we're on to item number 4 already, the approval of our meeting minutes from June 9th and July 2nd. So I think we're gonna, no, we have a quorum. Okay. Um, so June 9th, I was not here. That was the meeting that Miss Heather ran. So I will have to abstain from that vote because I wasn't here.
So,
Um,
and I was not here for the July 2nd meeting.
and you weren't here for the July 2nd meeting.
So we
So
probably
Karen,
should separate the votes, you think?
separate the votes and then,
Yeah. It'd be
okay,
a 2-0 with one abstention on
perfect.
both
We
cases.
still have a quorum. We still have a quorum. So
Yeah, you can
very
still
good.
vote, but
Well, then I move to approve the meeting minutes from the June 9th, 2026 meeting. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Miss Heather. They looked okay to me, but I wasn't here, and I didn't watch the recording like I probably should have. But um, if no further discussion, then Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the meeting minutes from June 9th, 2026?
I apologize. Heather, did you second the motion?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Chair Patrick Molina,
I'm going to abstain.
um, Vice Chair Heather Anderson,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Very good. And I would like to move to approve the approval of the meeting minutes from the special meeting conducted on July 2nd, 2026. A second, please.
I will second.
Thank you, Ms. Heather. That was a very short meeting, Heather, that you know what the topics were that day. We
Right.
took care of business very efficiently, and those meeting minutes looked great when Dottie sent them out. So I have no corrections or additions to them. If no further discussion, Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the meeting minutes from the special meeting held on July 2nd, 2026?
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Vice Chair Heather Anderson,
And due to my absence, I will abstain.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
All right. Our minutes are approved from both meetings. Thank you so very much, everyone. And that brings us right into the school finance section. We can promote Sammy right into the meeting and open it up. And if you had an opportunity to look at what Whitney sent out a few days ago, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of bars in there. And you might recall those bars were all approved. So these are just for our review. So hello, Sammy. Welcome to the meeting. The floor is yours.
So I am going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, and as you were saying, all of these bars were approved using the blanket bar approval that was approved in prior months. This is just to show you all. So there were a few that Whitney did note that she wanted me to go over. The first one, the bar for the foundation, it was approved, but we do have to resubmit it to PED because they did have some follow-up questions. Jake is aware of what's going on as well, but they basically said, we have questions, we're going to approve, so you have budget authority, but we still may have some questions. So there could be some follow-up coming along with that bar. The
Sure.
next one is an award that the school got from the PEC specifically for marketing. And so you'll see it was $36,000 in, and then on the checklisting report, it's $36,000 out. So it was for a specific purpose. The next one you'll see is a transfer bar for Idea B. That's just year-end, making sure everything is within budget at the function level. The next one, so bar, let's see, is it 5 and 10, I believe. Basically, what happened is for the Universal Free Lunch Program, we have to true up or down the budget towards the end of the year to make sure that we're in alignment with the actual we're receiving from the state or the federal government. And so this fund specifically is the state 211. The 21 is our regular food service that you can see above that decrease. And so what happened was, I guess in October, November, the claims were coded incorrectly. And so the state was coded to federal. And so we thought that, or the federal funds were coded to state. And so we thought we had all this state money. And so that's what the increase bar was for. And then you'll see at the bottom, there's a decrease bar for the same fund. It's because we realized that before we were with the school, the funding was incorrect. So when we corrected it, we actually needed to decrease the revenue a little bit more to make it align more accurately. So that's what those bars are. Does that make sense? I just want to make
Yeah,
sure.
it's a typical year-end cleanup.
Okay,
It's an adjustment we see
perfect.
almost every single year.
Perfect. And so that's why you'll see for those two funds, specific or for two for the fund was because of the miscoding and the correction there. You'll see that we do have the non-instructional support. That's the activity fund. And so again, we have to true up or true down based on actual revenue received, right? We don't want to have too much budgeted if we don't receive. And then we did have a transfer and a maintenance bar for operational. Again, just clean up as the year end. These were all, approved, submitted with that blanket bar, but we always like to present what we use the blanket bar for. Any
Perfect.
questions on those?
Just the last one, the need bar for school transportation. So is that one coming next month or what is that line item?
That was
Yeah,
Lisa. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Sammy. That was me that added that. This is Karen. Lisa asked me to make sure that you and Whitney were aware that we have the bar allocations now. And she asked me if it was on there. I said, no, it's not yet. These are just bars they've already done. So that will need board approval because it's for the new school year. But just noted it per the request of Director Hughes from
Okay.
Transportation.
Yep, nope. Just
so
want to
we
make
just
sure
got them.
we know what's going on there. So that one will be at next month's meeting, my guess.
Yeah, probably. They
Perfect.
updated the funding formula, and so we did get a slight increase, which is good. And so what we originally had budgeted for in the initial budget was changed, or will be changed
Perfect.
when we submit.
Perfect. Yep, these are customary bars at the end of the year doing all of that adjustment. So none of these are unexpected.
Perfect.
And Sammy, I did add an item on the agenda. Lisa asked me to cover it after you're finished regarding the school funding formula change and the allocation change, just to get an approval from the board for the contracts. So I'm going to do that if you don't mind when you're finished.
Yeah, absolutely. No
Okay,
problem.
thanks.
Of course. Do you want to do it after the bars or just after I'm done presenting?
I could do it when you're done presenting. I'm not in any hurry.
Perfect.
I just wanted
Sounds
you to
good.
know.
Perfect.
Sounds
Perfect.
good. So all of the bars were listed in the packet. I'm not going to go through them line by line, but if you guys did have any questions, you can go ahead and stop me. Looking at the checklisting report, like I said, the one that Whitney wanted me to note was this Next Star Media. This is at 36,000 that we received the award. So it was just kind of an in and out, right? We were able to get the services, but the grant provided the funding.
Yeah, that was
Awesome. I am going to jump down if nobody has any questions. On the check listing, I am going to go ahead and jump down to the reports, the graphs. Below this, of course, is always the check listing report or detail. If you guys have questions, you can look at that. So looking at our projected expenditures versus budgeted expenditures by fund and by fund type, you can see all of our fund types up here. This is all of our funds by percentage. So you can see that a lot of our reimbursable funds are 100% spent. That means that we spent the whole thing and we RFR'd the whole thing. RFRs were due last week. They all got submitted on time. So everything there looks good. I did just want to point out here, you can see this is just our operational fund. We are below our budgeted amount, which is great. Our estimated is slightly below. That just means that there's, potential for cash carryover at that point. We're not exceeding our budget, which is great.
That's very
Here. Awesome. But yeah, I always like to point out, especially in June, our reimbursable funds being, almost 100%. Spent. That's really what you want to see, or at 100%. Looking here at our monthly cash balance, our liquidity, we're at about a 1.35. You can see that it has gone up from the year. I do believe that's a big help from the foundation grant that we got. That really helped our cash position. And so you can just see it steadily going up. And hopefully, as we continue into FY27, it'll just continue to go up steadily.
Yes, ma'am. That is the goal.
Awesome. Looking here, you can see our budgeted revenue versus current year revenue. A lot of them, match almost exactly. They're pretty close. These are those current revenue, budgeted revenue that we decreased for the food service here, you can see, or an increase here, those things, because we want to make sure that we're getting close to those actual amounts that come in. Looking at our yearly expenditure comparison by month, not too big of a change, about 200,000, but nothing drastic here. Staying on trend, which is good. Looking at our function code change as well as our object code change. The function code change, I always like to point out our spending in the classroom. So that's this big blue bar. You always want to be around this 55, 50%, just to show that we are spending most of our money in the classroom. And that's really what we're supposed to be doing as a school. Our object code, of course, is always going to be compensation benefits. That's always going to be your largest cost is for staff. We have the account summary reports. This is just, of course, detail. This is our roll-up report, statement of revenues, expenditures, and change in fund balance, kind of looking at our cash on hand, and then looking at the bank reconciliation. We do tie out here. And then looking at outstanding, there's nothing that's stale dated, which is great. There are a few from, it looks like March and April, that if those don't get cleared soon, then they'll either be reissued or canceled, depending on what the transactions are. But aside from that, you can see that most of the outstanding checks are from June. And then looking at the bank statement, we do tie out to our ending balance here.
So our current cash situation, so because we did a double payroll in June, correct? Is that right? June?
I don't
Can we pay
think you guys. Okay.
I'm sorry, I heard a voice. Hello?
Sorry,
Jake?
we didn't.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, sorry. We didn't do that this year. They're actually getting paid in July. So as opposed to the 2 checks on the 15th and 30th of June, they got 1 check each in June and 1 check each in July.
Okay, very good. I was wondering what changed because we've done that in the past and I didn't hear that spoken of. So I was like, okay. So our cash position going into the new year is how much?
So, oh, sorry, it's not. There we go. So if we look here at our operational change in budgeted versus estimated, it's approximately 400K, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so approximately 400K. That's of course an estimate. When the audit is over, it's going to true up or true down, but that's kind of what the estimate is right now.
I think that's what Whitney was sort of aiming at, and that's a nice way to start the year. I'm hoping that a year from now that number is much more secure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Any questions or anything on anything else we went over?
Nope, ton of stuff and not uncustomary for the end of year. This is right in alignment with what I've seen the last 4 years, I guess. Yeah. So well done, Sammy. Fellow board members, any questions or clarifications? Well, then, if not, the bars have already been approved, so I'm not going to make a motion for the bars. I'm just going to make a motion for the financial reports for what we just saw. So I move to approve the financial reports for the month ending in June 2026 as presented. A second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Miss Heather. Give Dottie a moment.
Yes, sir.
Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the financial reports for the month ending June 2026 as presented?
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina.
Aye.
Vice Chair Heather Anderson
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney. Aye.
Fantastic. Sammy, thank you so very much. You did a fantastic job stepping in for Whitney. You both are great.
Oh, thank
You all
you.
do just a very smooth, excellent job. And really, really thank you for all of your efforts and staying on top of everything. A question just popped in my mind though before we cut you loose. The that miscoding for the is that going to be an audit finding next year?
It shouldn't be because it was corrected.
Okay,
If
very good.
if the auditors caught it, then that could be a finding for sure because it's them catching a miscode. But because we caught the coding and it was moved into the correct account, that's they just want to make sure that things here.
That it happened. Okay, perfect. Right. We're trying so hard to have as few, if not zero, findings next year. That would be quite refreshing. So if anything does pop up as a possible audit finding, it'd be nice to know that in advance, just so that we know what to expect. So wonderful.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments for Miss Whitney, or I'm sorry, Miss Sammy, before we cut her loose?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
thank
all.
you
It was good. Paul.
very much.
thank you, Sammy. I'm going to send you back through cyberspace and I will then cover the bus situation.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So, should I just move on? Sorry, Chair.
No, please. The floor is yours.
Okay. So, I lost my share button. Here we go. I want to share this document to help me run through this. It's actually good news, so yay us. But there's a couple of things I need to share. You may recall that you've already approved the bus contracts for this coming year for Herrera. That's not really changing, but the amount is changing in your favor. So, but I want to share that with you and then ask for approval with the modified amounts, given that we had approved something different before. So there was a clerical adjustment because Herrera had included on your original contract that you approved for rental fees for all the buses, but 3 of them are actually what they call spares, or they've already had their 5-year rental fees paid, and you can keep using them until they're 20 years out. So those don't need additional rental fees, so that did reduce the contract total. As you can see here, the original contract had the rental fees for all the buses. It's been
Karen,
adjusted.
We're not
You're just
seeing it,
you're
Karen.
screen sharing
I'm
the
seeing it.
agenda.
Oh, well, that's not very helpful. Thank you.
So the buses have a shelf life, but don't they also have a mileage max before they have to be retired? Isn't it whichever comes first, or am I
It
off
might
on
be,
it?
but I'm not aware of it. I just know that we've had to look at the dates, the yearly
Okay.
dates, but there probably is, and I can certainly find that out, Chair, but I don't know offhand.
Yeah,
So,
I'm trying to remember. I remember a year or two ago we had to replace a couple of buses because they hadn't aged out, but they had mileaged out. I think, if I'm remembering that right. If anybody else remembers that, chime in. But and we can ask Lisa the next time she's here. It's more
yeah,
of
I
a
can
curious.
check on that, but I know that there was a 20-year, and we did have some of those that could no longer be used, but I don't remember which school or where. So, but yes,
Okay,
I don't
groovy.
know,
Yep,
but I'll find out about the mileage piece.
perfect. Yeah, no worries.
But to compare the contract you already approved, are you seeing it the right thing now?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. The original rental fees were just under 300,000. It's now been reduced by about 70. And then the contract total, of course, is the same amount reduced total. So also, there's a new funding formula from the PED. And for transportation, I can share with you what little I know about the funding formula because most PED formulas I can't follow very well. But I will tell you that the funding formula is now based on the attempt was to make it more stable across years. Some school districts and charter schools got a little bit more than they have in the past. Some got a little bit less. And it's all by statute as to how some of the factors are involved. So the factors that are involved, I think per statute, are they use the SY25, so 2 years ago, cost or expenditure per student for transportation that year. And then the other factors are from the last school year, SY26, in terms of number of buses, number of miles traveled, and number of students served. How that all works in the formula, I'm sorry, I don't know. We had a meeting last Thursday where they kind of went over it, and a lot of schools were asking for the actual formula and calculation, particularly those who went down in funding. But the good news for you is that we had planned on just 1,132,000. And once they did this new funding formula, the final award we received on July 1st, the award letter was 1,492, so it actually went up. Um, and so we are going to, I don't think they've already put a bar in for the amount, so I don't think it's an increased bar. I think it's just the full bar, but Whitney will take care of what bar needs to be submitted for this transportation allocation. But the good
We
news
should,
is your rental fees went down, your allocation went up, and so your overall cost will be less. Yes. So you have, as you may recall, with this new allocation for the 18 buses with stops in Albuquerque, you have extra of 880, where in the past you've had to pay extra out of operational, right? In addition, you are already been paying for two, I think it was 3 buses last year, but Lisa's worked some bus stop rearrangement. It's 2 buses that have stops in Rio Rancho or Bernalillo. Um, so if we can use that remaining 880 towards it, this is the total that would have to be allocated from operational for busing, which is a decrease from prior years. So that's all, I think, pretty good news. But wanted you to understand the changes on the rental fees and the changes on the allocation, and then would ask for the board to approve the contracts to be revised with the appropriate amounts as indicated.
yeah, makes sense to me.
And I will entertain questions. If I really can't answer, I could try calling Lisa.
So
But
with this money that's left over, does that just go into operational or is it
no,
restricted
the
to just
the only
transportation?
amount the only amount that's left over, if you will, is this $880.
Okay.
And I'm not even sure if they'll allow us to apply it to, but Lisa and I are assuming they will. We'll have to check with Whitney on this, but we'd like to use the remaining 880 towards those other 2 buses, which then
Yeah,
means you have this amount in balance. So I would say worst case scenario is they don't let us use this for anything else, but I don't know why they wouldn't. This is also transportation.
right.
So the worst case is 140 out of operation, thousand out of operational.
Okay.
Hopefully we could use that extra 880, and that's what will have to come out of operational to support the 20 buses that you have running.
Excellent. Great.
And I could go look. I don't recall last year, but I'm fairly certain that you paid at least that, if not more, um, because you had to pay for, I think it was 3 buses, but I could be wrong. And then you also had to pay part of the other buses. It didn't cover everything.
That's
So
correct.
this new funding formula does help your school.
No, it really does. This is fantastic. So thank goodness. Because transportation was really sucking it to the operational fund.
And it does for lots of schools. I know, and even traditional school districts. I know I worked in Rio Rancho Public Schools for many years, and when they were a growing district, of course, that adds to it because they go by the prior years. So when you were growing, you were always short. And that's still going to be the case because they have to go on prior year. But even this year, I was in that meeting, Rio Rancho Public Schools, Mike Baker shared that their deficit is $1.4 million, which sounds like a whole lot of money, but it's really a very small percentage of their overall budget for that district. Um, Other charter schools, including Explore Academy Rio Rancho, have a payment they have to make that sounds like far less when you hear 1.4 million, but it's for them it's 1.6% of their operational. For Rio Rancho, it's only 0.05% of their budget. So it sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but in relationship's sake, percentage wise,
Yeah, the
it's
impact of the
not.
budget is felt.
It's less, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, then I move to approve the school transportation funding adjustment to the contract as presented. A second, please.
I will second.
Thank you, Miss Heather. Any questions or discussion, fellow board members? I don't want to jinx it, but it sounds like we're starting to get some really good news from a budgetary standpoint, and I will take every win we can get. It's feeling this next school year is feeling very good and solid from a financial standpoint, which is rather refreshing. Well then, Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the school transportation funding contract as presented?
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Vice Chair Heather Anderson,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Excellent. Thank you all very much. And a belated welcome to Mr. Colander. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, good man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry for my tardiness.
No worries, no worries. You missed all the exciting votes that we do at the beginning of the meeting, so.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Hey, item number 6, folks, governing council business. We will begin with designation of our board members. And it looks like we only need to reappoint and vote on Dottie and say a very sad goodbye next month to Heather. Is that correct?
As far as I know, we do need to get a replacements for Heather leaving, but I don't think we have anyone to present today.
We do not. We do not. Well, then I guess our only vote is, well, I guess we have to, well, Dottie, do you want to continue being the secretary?
Yes,
Well, elections are later. This is just
Oh,
reappointing her to the board
Reappoint, okay.
because
Oh.
her term expires, as does Heather's, but Heather has decided to submit resignation. So we only need to I would gladly reappoint Miss Anderson, but
Thank you,
it's
Karen.
only for Dottie.
well, I am happy to serve another year for Explore Academy. It's just exciting to see where we're going on the right path this year after the problems that we've had with the gym and our finances. It's just I'm excited to see this next year how it goes. So I'm happy to serve on the board.
Well, awesome. Thank you. Well, then I move to reappoint Dottie McKinney to the board for the next school year. A second, please.
I will second.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Heather. Then, Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to reappoint Dottie McKinney to the board for the next school year?
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Vice Chair Heather Anderson,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Well, then, done. And thank you so much, Heather. We'll say our formal goodbyes next month, but thank you. You've been a wonderful contributor to this board, and you will be missed greatly. But does that mean we can still be neighbors? Can we still be friends?
Of course. I'll drop by periodically.
Excellent. Going on to item B, contract renewals for food service and any others that may be presented. I'm guessing the floor will go to either Karen or Jake here.
I think I can cover the food service. I didn't hear of any others, but I put that on the agenda just in case we thought of something at the last minute. But I don't think we have others. I think we covered most of them last month, but somehow I overlooked the food service. So this is a contract. You know that we did an RFP for food service. Genuine Foods was the
Oh, yeah.
awardee. And so this is really just an annual renewal of a up to 3 year renewals. I will share that and I want to look it up because Liz was planning to be here but had family issue with flights being delayed and whatnot. So she asked me to cover for her. I do need to share
Sure.
with you that on this contract, you'll see that the price of breakfast is going to be up, it goes up 3.8% from the prior year. So breakfast is $2.27, lunch is $4.55. And what Ms. Ragland Sherman told me is that the state and federal allocations reimburse those a little bit more than that for the cost of the meals. So we get four, as I said, 227 is what you're paying for breakfast per meal, but we get reimbursed 246, so 20, almost 20 cents. And then for lunch, 455, and we are reimbursed $4.71. So we make a little bit on each meal in terms of the cost of the meal. Ms. Ragland Sherman also wanted me to share that she's applying. There's an application process that opens up in August to request an additional 9 cents from the state for each meal. For some reason, we did not have this last year, but she's going to apply and see if we can get that additional 9 cents per meal. So the ask is to go ahead and renew this contract. It's based on the RFP from, I think it was a year ago.
Mhm. Very good. My only observation is 3.8% doesn't even cover inflation. I mean, that's really remarkable that the ask isn't more.
I
So,
think I think that's a requirement. Uh,
oh, it looks like it's based on a
Maximum
consumer.
amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's fair
So
and
I think,
reasonable. It's
yeah,
really, wow. Hmm. Okay. Perhaps the
yeah.
government something mid-year after inflation is factored in because it has hit food prices significantly. So, all right. Well, then for discussion by motioning to approve the renewal agreement for vended meal services as presented. A second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Miss Dottie. All right. Aside from the comment I just made about, I think the 3.8% is quite reasonable, if not maybe not enough. Hopefully that extra 9 cents that we can get from the state if they approve that application will help our vendors because they need to make a little bit of money to cover their expenses, right? It's not just the food itself, it's all the labor and utilities that go into it. So although I guess we pay for the utilities now that we have a kitchen, right? So
Yeah. I think the 9 cents would go to the school, but
would it go to the school?
yeah, it's the reimbursement comes to the school. So you currently get 471 for lunch and 246 for breakfast per meal. And what you're listed on the contract is what you pay the vendor.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put that money to good use. Very good. Any further discussion, fellow board members? No? Then Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the contract renewal agreement for vended meal services as presented?
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Vice Chair Heather Anderson,
Hi.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Very, very good. Any others that you are aware of, either Mr. Colander or Miss Karen?
There is
Unfortunately, no. There is?
one other, and I don't recall because you talked to me about this, Chair Molina, about Vertex. I don't know if that is a thing that has to be brought up to the whole board for approval, but Vertex changed their contract for us because they are going to bring payroll in. Do you recall what I'm talking about now? And I don't know if that's the for the rest of the members of the board and for Karen. So our payroll specialist Haley Lynch will be leaving us as an employee of the school, but rejoining us as an employee of Vertex Education. and taking on and continuing to take on our school as one of her accounts. So I'm not sure what the genesis of that change was, but I do know that there was a conversation back and forth. I got a phone call from Mr. Runyon, who was the former lead of K-12 education that is now working under Vertex. And he called me and said that this was something that was kind of in the pipeline, wanted to know my thoughts. And I think Haley, who's done an absolutely amazing job for our school, and I keep putting them through the runaround. There was Karen, yet one more error on the contracts that I just got an email about 10 minutes ago. So I don't know if that's going to cause a rerun or not, but they're very patient and they're very professional. But it will, this is another one of those, it's going to save the school some money. The salary, the increase in the contract to the school for Vertex is only slightly higher by a couple $1,000s than the salary that we pay to Haley to do payroll. But we also pay Haley's benefits. We have the school's contribution for benefits that we will no longer be having to pay because that will be under Vertex and their responsibility. So for us, I mean, it's not like an incredible cash savings like the buses or something, but it's small and any little bit helps. But that will alter the contract for Vertex for this year by, I think, $65,000
Oh,
to
right, right.
payroll on with them.
Yeah.
So for us, it's a wash to the swinging in the direction of a gain in what we're spending overall as a school. It's just that payroll will no longer be an Explore Academy employee. It'll be done through Vertex.
Great.
So I didn't know
So,
the details about that until I spoke to Brian Runyon and hadn't heard anything until Chair Molina, until you called me to say, did you know about this? And I said, yep, I know about that. But at that point, I don't know if that's a new contract, a different and updated. I'm not sure what the next step is for that.
all right. Well, it sounds like an error was discovered in that verbiage in that document. Is that correct?
It was in the staff contracts for today. So as we're doing contract languages, we were sort of talking about Haley has been amazing. The error in the contract for all of staff, which when you have 160 plus staff, having to do contracts one by one through Adobe Sign is tedious and time consuming. And
Yep.
like I said, I got an email a few minutes ago that there is an error in the calculations on the contracts. So she's going to have to fix those, but I'm just using it as a testament to her great patience and kindness and professionalism in the face of the ever-changing landscape that is contracts with Explore Academy.
Okay. So this is sort of an addendum to our current contract, if you will, just shifting that position from us to Vertex.
Yeah, I think it would be wise for the board to, you have approved a contract with Vertex or approved the renewal at the last regular meeting.
Right?
So I think we do need a board approval. I just don't know if we should do it based on what Jake has told us, or if you want to add it to the next agenda, which would be after the change already takes place, I presume.
Yeah, it would be after the change. Um, well, fellow board members, what are your thoughts?
Well,
When I reviewed it earlier, it looked linear to me.
is there any documentation? Did they present a letter, or is there language that they've sent you, or is so far it's all verbal? You haven't gotten anything in writing?
Nothing was sent to me. I was told that it would go to the board, not to me. So I have not seen anything in writing myself.
Okay.
And given that question and that response, I would recommend that if you decide to move forward and make this approval based on Jake's recommendation, that you just perhaps give Mr. Molina authority to execute that contract, assuming it is as described, with adding payroll that would actually cost you less than paying Haley as an employee.
Yeah, I think that's fair and reasonable. Well, then I move to approve allowing the chair to sign that new addended contract, moving the payroll position from Explore Academy to Vertex with no change in service, which is what I've been told would happen. A second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Miss Dottie. Any other comments or discussion, folks? When I looked at the initial, it was an email, it looked like a virtual wash. I think we're going to save a handful of bucks, which again, every penny absolutely positively counts. My concern with Jake was we're not losing her talent and her diligence because it has been so refreshing to have a solid payroll person. And we were told that we would indeed keep her services available. It's just that her employer would change. And I think that's just fine. All right.
It saves us
Then
about 10. I'm sorry, I apologize. It saves us
go ahead.
about
Go
10
ahead.
grand a year.
Yeah, even after yeah, because of all the benefits, right?
Yep,
The
because of the
insurance,
cost of benefits. Yep.
ERA, and so that's real money. $10,000 is real money. So this is it's a win for us on both ends financially, and we continue to have that wonderful talent available, which again was one of my paramount concerns was I don't want us to sort of just get fed into the payroll system. She knows how we do business and what we do and all of our quirks. So that was really important. Okay, well then Miss Dottie, will ask for a roll call vote to allow the chair to sign any contract addendums moving the payroll position from Explore Academy to Vertex as presented. And yeah, let's do a roll call.
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina.
I will abstain because I am the chair.
All right. Vice Chair Heather Anderson.
Aye.
And Dottie McKinney, aye.
All right, the motion passes. I will make sure everything is in order and lined up. And my guess is that'll happen in the next week or so. So I'll keep you updated as to anything that changes there. But I think it's a win for all involved. So very good. Thank you, Mr. Colander. Any others? Well, then, folks, it's time to jump into a quick closed session. I say quick because I'm really well prepared. So the closed session will be to to review the evaluations that I've summed up from everybody's comments and scoring, and then we can discuss on how we want to deliver those. So I've got my thoughts. So I will move to enter into closed session for the purposes of discussing limited personal matters, specifically the school year 26 evaluations for the head administrator and director of operations.
I will
A second.
second.
Thank you, Miss Heather. Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote so that we may enter closed session for the purpose of discussing limited personal matters, specifically the SY26 evaluations for the head administrator and director of operations?
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina.
Aye.
Vice Chair Heather Anderson.
Aye.
And Dottie McKinney, aye.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's restart where we picked up by a motion to close the closed session. A second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Ms. Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to close our closed session?
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina.
Aye.
Vice Chair Heather Anderson.
Aye.
And Dottie McKinney, aye.
We discussed all of the documentation. There's no significant changes or anything from the board. So I'm not sure if we need a vote on that. I'm trying to remember if we do vote on that. I don't think we need to necessarily. We just wanted to have a discussion in private to discuss those personnel matters.
But the board does need to approve you don't need to share them in public, but you do need to have a vote to approve. So the next item, I did list those. If you want to move to, approve as discussed in closed session.
Okay, we can do that. Let me get back to I need a third screen, believe it or not. Very good. Well then, can we do it as a slate or do we have to do them individually?
However you prefer.
Awesome. I move to approve the school year 2025-2026 evaluations for the head administrator, the director of operations, and the governing board self-assessment. A second, please.
I'll
I
second.
will.
Oh,
Thank you, Dottie.
Dottie got it. Dottie got it. A superb, wonderful conversation. Everybody was in alignment with the scoring overall on all three evaluations and assessment and the comments made. And another great job by the board because everybody does their portions individually, and then I get to put it all together. And it was really remarkable on how in alignment the comments and the scoring was overall. It was really, pardon me, remarkable in the fact that we do it individually. So we are tuned in. And Heather, it's not August yet. You can still hang around.
I'll be here. You've
All
got me
right.
for another.
All right. All right. All right. Great. Very good. If no further discussion is needed, Ms. Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the school year 2025-2026 evaluations for the head administrator, the director of operations, and the governing board self-assessment?
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Vice Chair Heather Anderson,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Very good. Well, it's time to vote for our officers on our board. Ironically, all of the officers are here, and only the officers are here. So I guess we need to nominate our chair. We need to nominate our vice chair, which will probably go open at this meeting because we don't have anybody else here, and our secretary. So we will defer the vice chair, vice president to a future meeting when we reluctantly replace Heather on the board. So may I please have a nomination for the chair president position?
I move that Patrick Molina uh, uh, be elected as our chair for FY 26-27.
I guess you got to nominate me, and then I have to accept the nomination.
Oh, okay. I nominate Patrick Molina as chair for the EAA General Counsel for SY 26-27.
Are there any other nominations? Come on, Heather.
I think you get
Oh
it.
my God.
I'll bring
I
something
get
by
it.
to congratulate you.
I'm holding you to that. I very honorably and respectfully accept the nomination. Thank you all so much for your special trust and confidence in my abilities. I oftentimes don't think I'm worthy of this, but I do my best for the board and for the school, and it is truly a privilege to serve. It really is a privilege and a pleasure to serve. So thank you so very much. We're going to skip the vice. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, do we have a second for the uh, motion to elect you as chair?
Well, now that I've accepted the nomination, now we can motion to do the
Oh,
vote.
okay. Okay.
And you can certainly motion. Please do the motion.
Well, no, I moved, so Heather will need to, Miss Anderson will need to second the motion.
Heather and
Okay.
Anderson, all of them work, Dottie.
Yeah.
So do you want me to? Are we needing we need the motion though to nominate, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I move to elect Patrick Molina as the chair and president of the board for the fiscal year 26-27.
And I will second.
Thank you. Because it'd be rather self-serving if I second my own motion.
Okay.
All right, Miss Duddy, would you please conduct a roll call vote to elect Patrick Molina as the school year 2026-2027 governing council chair and president?
Yes. Chair Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Vice Chair Heather Anderson,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Thank you all. I you all are virtually the perfect board, with the exception of your choice of governing council chair. I think. Anyway, thank you all again very much. We're going to skip the vice chair, vice president nomination at this time, but I would like to nominate Dottie McKinney to serve as our chair for one more year through the school year 2026-2027, if she so accepts the nomination.
Yes, I do.
Wonderful. Anyone else would like to place a nomination, put a nomination forward for secretary? Very good. Then I move to elect Miss Dottie McKinney as our Governing Council Secretary for the school year 2026-2027. A second, please.
I will second.
I was hoping you would. Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to elect you as our secretary for the school year 2026-2027, please?
Yes. Chair Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Vice Chair Heather Anderson,
I.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Dottie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The secretary is such a busy job and a little bit of a heavy lift. So thank you doing it so gracefully and enthusiastically. It is not overlooked. So thank you
Well,
very, very.
Karen Werner gets the kudos. I couldn't do it without her. So thank you, Karen.
Karen
You're
is
welcome, Dottie, but Dottie does a great job.
Thank you very much, everyone.
I think we've got a mighty fine little board here, and it takes all of us to make it happen. And I can't thank you all enough. And I know I say that at the end of every meeting, and I mean it with everything in my heart. All right, board committee reports. The audit committee got underway. Well, the audit committee process has gotten underway. For anybody on the audit committee, if you missed the June meeting, kind of the kickoff meeting, there's another one in about a week or so in July. It was about a 20-minute meeting. So if you're on the audit committee and you didn't make the June one, there's one more opportunity to attend. So please do so. Nothing else there at this
Question
time. Yes, ma'am.
on our audit committee, I have a question. Um, and I don't know if we actually know the answer right now, but you have to have a parent and a community member. Has Erin Hamilton agreed to continue as community member? And do we have a parent? Because I think Monica Navarro's daughter graduated.
Okay, then the answer is no, we do not. So
For
we need to
either of those, or was
I've not heard
Erin?
Aaron.
Mhm.
He was on last year's, and my guess is he'd probably be willing to do it again. And we do need to recruit a parent then.
If you
Okay.
are
I
in
think,
need, oh, sorry, Karen, dude, go ahead.
no, I'm assuming about Miss Navarro. I'm pretty sure she no longer has a student at the school.
Okay.
If you are in need of a parent with financial background for the audit committee or just a parent, our in-between neighbor, and their last name escapes me. They have a son, Dylan, who will be in seventh or eighth grade this coming year at Explore. Cameo is her first name, and she works at a bank and has
Ooh,
financial guru knowledge.
that'd
I
be
can look
lovely.
in Power School for the student with the first name Dylan and mom with Cameo. I'm probably gonna find it.
Okay. And
Okay.
her husband's name is Mike, if you need that one too.
Okay. And so I guess, Mr. Collard, I should confirm with Monica Navarro and then reach out to Erin as well. Um, when you've gotten those invites to the audit entrance conference, have those been sent out to all of the members?
Yes.
Okay.
They're sent out by CLA.
No, they only send them, CLA only sends them to typically the board, maybe the board chair and the head administrator, and they expect you to let everybody else know. So
Oh,
um,
okay.
I might have done it. When I get wind of it, I usually do send it, but I'll have to check my email. I don't recall if I did or didn't, to be honest.
Okay.
I'll take a look
Uh,
at my inbox as well.
okay. Thanks. Yep. So standard, if you've been to one, this meeting was absolutely no different. And at CLA, I think does a good job. I think they're a solid organization. So
So
cool.
Dottie, were you able to attend? Because you're the other audit committee
Mhm. Yes,
member.
I attend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just need to reach out to Monica and Erin and then perhaps this Dylan's mom. Okay.
I
I'll
can
let you
do
Very
some
good.
research too, Karen, if you need me to go down and
I can
chat
figure
with
it out.
them.
You're welcome to do that, but I'm sure I can find it pretty quickly.
Sure. Cool. Awesome. And let me know, Heather, if you need a plate of cookies or whatnot to sweeten the deal. I can deliver those.
I'll send Zane down. They like to talk cars
Oh,
with them.
there you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that end of the street of our street is kind of because the Grubelnik's son has that Mustang that he blew the engine on, and yeah, you guys are a
Hmm.
little bit more motorhead up there. I should be hanging
It's
out there
true.
more often. Really is. It really is. All right, from the finance committee on which I sit, but I'm not the chair, no report outs there. Bill and I did meet with Whitney and we went over the preliminary reports that you saw all this evening. She didn't have all of the bars ready at that meeting, but she did give us the heads up on the slate that was presented tonight, and everything looked in order, which is why I didn't really chime in because everything was dialed in by Bill and I. So no updates from the finance committee that you don't already know about from this evening's presentation. And then our facilities committee, if you all got to meet or visit, any report outs there?
Dottie, is there anything you want to throw in?
Um, well, we did, Heather and I met at the school with Ralph, and he went over all of the projects. The list had been updated since it was presented at a meeting earlier this year. And we were pleased to see that a lot of the items that we had identified as health and safety issues, such as the restroom doors, et cetera, were being taken care of and being addressed. There is uh, a learning curve, per se, if you will, that the money that had been appropriated from the foundation, Ralph is doing an excellent job of managing those projects, et cetera, and keeping in mind that us as the general counsel, we don't have a say in how that money is being spent, but we appreciate being apprised of how the money is being spent. So we thank you for that. Anything
That's
else there that you can think of?
No, I was able after you left to tour the new facilities, and Jake, they look, the gym and the classrooms, the locker rooms all look fantastic. So if you haven't seen them, Patrick, then and Dottie, if you want to, it looks really good. It's impressive. It looks like they'll be ready to open. I think Ralph said right before school. Is that the right date?
They are supposed, well, we just did our walkthrough. We're going to re-walk through it on Friday
Okay.
of this week. We did a punch card walkthrough on Monday. And at this point, it's patching. The only big work they have to do is attaching the basketball goals. But other than that, it's patchwork. A broken tile here, some missing grout there that we were spotting and asking them to fix. But yeah, it's everything should be up and ready for kids.
The
woohoo.
other thing, and this was just a question I had for you, Mr. Colander, that Ralph was talking about looking for a place to store costumes from the drama department, not in the locker rooms. Has there been any decisions on that?
No, I think we're going to have to figure out storage is always the issue. It's
Sure.
because we have so many electives, um, like band and drama and things. It has always been an issue of figuring out where to store costumes. As you said, right now they're being stored in like the showers area of the new bathrooms that are over there, and they're clearly going to have to get moved. But there's a part of that I think is there is some storage next to the drama, next to the black box theater. There's a storage closet. I don't know if it's going to be big enough based on how much stuff they have, but I kind of leave it up to them to say organize your space and
Sure.
uh, but yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, when I went to the Expo Extravaganza event, which was awesome, Ralph chewed my ear. And that's another guy who's got a seemingly endless amount of energy and enthusiasm for what he does. So we're lucky to have him.
Yes.
But thank you, Facilities Committee. Very good. I have no questions because I'm the only person not on that committee at this meeting. Well, Mr. Colander, item number 7 is all you. You have the floor, sir.
Excellent. Thank you all. And I will go through these. with a little bit of detail, I went ahead and shared with all of you, linked out here, the social media report so that you can take a look at what is happening on social media. But the bigger news is around the Amazon program. So, as a recap, our current social media person, Sierra Nee Chavez, gives these reports, and she said, of course, what it's going to look like is that we had a huge drop in interaction in social media because we did a paid boosted campaign right at the end of the school year in May to pull in last minute applications. And so in June, the paid advertising that boosts it out there went away, which means the traffic went away to it. All of it very reasonable and understandable. But I still think she's doing an amazing job. And the pattern that we're seeing, of course, is that the number one things most seen on our Facebook that attract attention are the spotlights, whether it's student or staff spotlights. The only exception to that rule was the Jake Colander spotlight, which had 13 views, 13 thumb down. Just kidding. It was no, there was I saw there was like one comment from somebody who knew me. I'm just not the face people know as well anymore from the school. But the ones they've had, the teachers have all had really great responses, and the one for the students have always had great responses. And at the end of the day, I always tell them I work in the background for a reason. If I was a parent investigating a charter school, I'm not that interested per se in the head administrator or even the administrators. What I want to know is what's the day-to-day experience of students and teachers. That's what I want to know. And so I've told
Yeah.
her, if you need filler space, put our mugs up there. But other than that, stick to kids and teachers. That's what parents want to see. We did meet with KRQE. So if you guys will recall, the 36,000 that was mentioned earlier by Sammy was the reimbursement for the purchasing of the contract with Nexstar Media. I'm a little dubious, and so I will dig a little bit with KRQE because technically they said our contract with them began June 8th and we pay by the month, and it's now July 14th. We've had one meeting, it lasted 1 hour, and they are not getting in to film anything until the 30th of July. So I understand maybe if I understand we have to pay for July. I'm going to kind of say I really think our contract should have started in July because the reason we did not meet in June was because they were unavailable. So we're gonna have to figure that out. But I'm very excited for what it can do. We have a professional coming in who's going to shoot what he refers to as B-roll footage and create a script that we're all going to approve. And this will go into a 15-second as well as a 30-second ad campaign. And then we will start sorting it out through targeted um, ads through Amazon products, so through Prime and Amazon Shopping and all those kinds of things. I'm really looking forward to what it can do because we have it. If I can win my way, we have it till the end of December, and it may be worth it for us to go ahead and purchase an additional 3 months worth of that to have it for January, February, March, just if we feel like it's having some good results. I'm excited for what they're going to do. Once again, he said, he gave us a couple of options and said, for instance, do you want a spokesperson in the room? He was indicating me to like sit and do an interview with B-roll footage and some things. And I said, you don't want us to have me sit and talk. Like, again, nobody wants to see me on an ad. They want to see kids in classrooms and teachers teaching, and that should be what they're seeing as they hear about what our school does. So I'm very excited for that new campaign. In terms of purchasing, we are, of course, focused on ensuring that things are coming around relevant to the bond funds. Um, we are focused on keeping a lean budget. And so the team is excellent. They ask me for every pencil they want to purchase. Is that okay if we buy that? And for the most part, all of it is well within reason. But the heightened scrutiny of purchases has landed squarely in the laps of the principals who want much better approval process from the administration before teachers purchase things. And we have developed a new tracking sheet I worked on with Tina Kozlowski, who's our CPO, where it all feeds itself. I'm not great at spreadsheets, guys, and I'm rather proud of this one. Just letting you know. Because it updates by the budget code. You've seen the functions where it's like function 1000 is instructional supplies and function 2600 is facilities. It's by function, feeds into all the tabs separated by function with the projected budget amounts so that Tina and I can keep our eye on everything live as purchases are being made through Amazon or Granger or for whatever we need to get. We're sort of watching live as it hits the budget so we don't have to wait for end of month reports to know whether or not we still have money to buy things that we need to. But at the same time, we're trying to, of course, put more money in the direction of instruction. Like if I can take money out of things that are less worthy of our funds and put it in directly into the classroom, into the materials that are helping to teach kids, I'm excited for that. And so that tracking of the funding will help us do much better with that. I will also say that we had a rather philosophical conversation because this is going to come up probably in August with the board, if not maybe September. Um, but I think as a school, we are at the stage where we need to start developing an AI policy that sort of encapsulates what we need to be doing technologically speaking with kids. And in the rather robust and philosophical conversations that I've had with the principals, uh, the mode is going to be that our K-5 campus actually wants to pull back from technology. They said they feel that there is a detriment to learning in the early grade levels when they're too reliant on computers. And so some of our instructional funds are going to go towards buying manipulative kits for classrooms so that kids are doing back to more hands-on, more interactive type things as opposed to computer learning. And then the AI stuff is going to be more geared towards our majors classes with older kids and those teachers being targeted. Um, it is pricey if we want oversight. So Google Gemini is the best AI model for our workspace. It is $20 per user per month. So for a school of 1,400 kids and 160 teachers, that's quite a bit of cash. So, but it is the system that would allow them to red flag if a child in the middle of the night while researching something decides to wander into an AI interaction that's not appropriate for high school kids to wander into, it will flag it, notify administration. It creates the filters that doesn't allow them to do things. But um, it's a pricey tool because it's shiny and new. But at minimum, we are trying to build some policies that lay out how we want it approached relevant to ethical use and transparency and focused on it being incorporated into inquiry-based pedagogical models as opposed to assignment-based. Like when does it fit in with the learning as opposed to the assignment, if that makes sense. So
It
all that's coming up. Sorry.
what about the policy for faculty's use of AI in grading and lesson planning and all of that? Is that going to be an element as well?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, what I'm working on is a side-by-side policy that has if we're using sort of the seminar learning model and the inquiry-based framework, so what does that look like from the student side and the teacher side? So that and I have a graphic that is gorgeous that I did sort of have AI kind of produce that shows here's how it layers both in terms of your school model is seminar based, our instruction is inquiry based. So where are the natural insert points in that process where AI could be incorporated? And then it delineates by grade. When do we want like we don't want K4 with like student-led AI stuff, but teacher-led has its space. By the time they are seniors and they're doing larger projects for their majors, it's going to look and be similar to what we're hearing is coming out of post-secondary institutions and what they're seeing with AI. So, but it is very much centered on let's do a policy for kids and let's do a policy for staff. But that framework of ethical use, transparency, and focused on the learning will be universal. So hopefully our teachers will see like you can use AI when you're designing a lesson, cite it. And if you don't want to cite it, there's your Jiminy Cricket saying let your conscience be your guide. If you don't want to cite how much you're using it, probably using it too much. So um, but we don't have a fully designed and working with our CNI team to get a draft ready to go.
Perfect.
Um, gyms and facilities, as was mentioned, and I don't know, I forgot, Heather, did you mention being able to go out and see our new field?
Yes, I did. And at the time they were working on just finishing the last of the turf, and then Ralph was talking about putting in some sprinkler lines around the field to the opposite side to water the trees.
Yeah, I think we are going to be facing a need to have some trees out there. Like we're in both the upcoming construction work and the existing, we've cut a lot of trees down. Excuse me, and we're going to want to replant some of that. So,
That
excuse me.
turf can get really hot, so the trees would be a good idea.
Yeah, it feels wild on the toes. I my darling beloved and I stopped by just to take a peek at it because she wanted to see it. And I said, let's see
Mm.
what it feels like on the toes when it's nice and warm. And it's kind of cool. But seeing that as one big field instead of two smaller fields divided, it's pretty epic. I think the kids are going to love it. I think the PE teachers are going to
Hmm.
love it. So all of it's great news. The gym is gorgeous. The bleachers were put in. Um, and like I said, we did our final sort of punch card walkthrough, but everything's looking great. It's going to be great. In addition, the HVAC, I walked in yesterday to what felt like a giant blow dryer blowing on us from the west side of the building and got Sean on the phone. He was aware of it. We've done a lot of replacing, but it was a different part that went out. He got that installed today. So by the end of the day today, the whole building was feeling cool and fresh. And I'm just fingers crossed. I think it'll be our first year in the building where every classroom is a very comfortable temperature at the start of the school year as opposed to us trying to Frankenstein some HVAC units together. And something else to share with the board. So we have talked in the past about having Genuine do some small contracts to cook out of the school's kitchen. They said currently they have enough space and room. It would help essentially be a self-feeding thing where the money we bring in can both bring revenue into the school as well as pay for the utilities we're spending to run the equipment. And I reached out to, and luckily we were selected to be one of the state sites for Cognia's literacy assessment training. It is a statewide training, and they do it by region. We are going to be the location for the central region at our Galton campus. It's on September 4th, but they're going to target charter schools from all over the state as well as districts can be there. So I did reach out to Anthony and said, we're going to make our campus look good. He is very interested in getting some reading interventionists. And who attends reading and literacy assessment training? Reading interventionists. So hopefully we'll have some people who walk in that building and say, hey, this is a cool place. Would love to come work here. I also contacted Ian at Genuine Foods and said they have money to pay you if you want to make breakfast for them. It may be a great opportunity for you to showcase the quality that comes out of our kitchen for all these schools in the state. So he's very excited by that as well. And hopefully it's a win-win-win for everybody. We get our staff that need to attend some assessment literacy training in on this in the ground level because it's their building. We get some great exposure for our school. Our We might be able to pull in a few small contracts to cook out of our kitchen to drum up some revenue, and Genuine hopefully will benefit from it by also being able to pull up some contracts with schools that have kitchens but don't like the quality of their food service. So hopefully it's a win for everybody in September for us. I'll pause there. I just had hiring and OKRs, but were there any questions about sort of purchasing social media and gym and facilities?
No, sir, not for me.
No, I'm good.
Excellent. We had some recent resignations, and it was, if you recall, when we last spoke, the concern about the board approved salary schedule was it would be a deterrent for new teachers because of the level one, and it's actually level three teachers who felt that three of them who felt that I don't know if they felt that their compensation was fair, but it was level three teachers who at the end stepped down, and so we are quickly trying to hire to replace them. We got one math teacher hired today, so we are needing, if any of you know anyone, we're needing one middle school math teacher. She was a new hire coming in from New York, and I don't know that that all went through for her. We have a high school science teaching position that is available, and we had a second mid-school math, but we actually got someone who got hired today for that position. So I think we're really smooth sailing on hiring and staffing. One of the positions that someone stepped down from, we are not replacing, and that will essentially, in terms of the grand scheme of things, it does save us a 1.0 FTE. But in talking with our scheduler, said actually it's amongst a group of teachers that have some rather small classes, and combining them makes for is better. It's more efficient for the school and saves us one FTE's worth of salary and benefits. So I said, well, we're not going to replace that, and that's how we're going to move forward with that position. And in terms of OKRs, more exciting news. I love sharing exciting news with my board. If you recall, our school last year was the first year that we did objectives and key results. I reached out to the teacher evaluation team at PED, and I don't know if is it Dr. Maurer, Mrs. Werner? Is she a doctor or is it Mrs. Maurer?
I don't I don't believe she has a doctorate, but I could be mistaken.
Okay,
I
no
can
one's
look it up.
offended by being called a doctor, so we're going to call her Dr. Maurer until we are dictated to otherwise. But I invited her to our school to look at our OKR process, which she said was actually right in alignment with the thinking of the new teacher evaluation. How do we approach it in a way that is better for teachers, incorporates a coaching cycle? So she really appreciated that, and that was back in October. I got a call last week from Dr. Maurer who said, we are trying to roll out the new teacher evaluation system in New Mexico, but we need some schools to pilot it. And based on what I saw with you back in October, we would love for Explore Academy to be a pilot school for the new teacher evaluation system, both because they want our feedback and they feel it actually syncs up with our OKRs in a way that will create a more cohesive evaluation process. So I had a voicemail. I called Karen because I typically reach out and say, "What do you think about this?" And I called Dr. Maurer back, and she said she was sort of in a bit of a hurry, and she goes, "But I really I can't go into a lot of details right now, but I really think it will be up your alley, and I think it will benefit your teachers. It'll be much more common sense. It's the updated Danielson framework, plus it incorporates items from Yazi Martinez that schools are going to have to adopt." And we're getting in at the phase where we can give them feedback and perhaps shape it a little bit if we feel that there's something that's not accessible for our teachers or too much of a challenge. We have some hand in on that. So I've let her know by email, but haven't gotten a phone call back in that we would like to go ahead and do that and pilot that at our school. So our OKRs for this year are about 80% written, but I thought it wise to pause until I get a bit more detail on it in case we have to adjust slightly one way or the other. But I worked on them with our directors of CNI. I think it's a great system. I still am a believer in it. I'm still telling people I need you to buy the book, measure what matters, and dig into it because I think you'll see that this is a great unifier for how we create our goals as a school, our dash plan, our professional development plans for our teachers, our PD calendars. It just aligns everything so well. And we had some good success last year with it. So looking forward to that this year, but just wanted to let you know I'll get the OKRs to you in August.
Excellent.
And I think that takes care of my list. Any questions for me? Anything else that I did not report out on that you would like to hear about?
Not that I can think of. Maybe we've covered quite a bit.
Very good. Well, thank you all so much. I really do appreciate the continued support. I obviously have not seen or read the comments on my feedback, but whatever insights you all provide, I always appreciate greatly. I know I have a lot of growing to do and a lot of areas in which I need to improve. So I look forward to those who kind of see how I've been doing and are able to point to here are some specific things we'd love to see you work on for this year. I always appreciate that because I know I need to grow and get better. It's my 25th year in education this year. Ouch. Still growing. So
Uh,
That might explain why you're using these now.
that is exactly why I'm using these. These are year 24 inaugural glasses that I took at the end of last year that are now official 2025, year 25 glasses. So
Wow.
okay, you youngins just don't know any. I won't even tell you how many years I've been in education, and I wear monovision contacts, so I cheat.
I tried them and was like, this is not going to work for me. I preferred the system, but thank you all. I appreciate you guys.
Outstanding. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Our next agenda item requires Ralph Lovato to talk about construction projects update. Are you going to cover that or
No, I
are
don't. I think anything that needs to be said has been covered between
I
facilities and Jake. But I
I
I thought that was sort of a standing thing, but
Mhm.
maybe we don't need it as much anymore. But please, as we do agendas, let me know if you, Jake
Okay.
or Patrick, if you think
Sure.
it needs to be listed or not.
Okay.
So that's a pass.
They still should have
Karen being careful that we might need something. So
they still should have the they're working on the Amira assessment room, if you will, the sort of sectioned off room at Masthead in the flex space. They haven't started building it, but they said it's only going to take them 4 days max because they're just putting up walls. They don't
Okay.
have to. They're just putting up walls. And then we will have a full-blown library at the elementary, a new staff lounge space, and then this space for kids to go to the mirror assessment. So that's the only other construction news I can think of from Ralph, is that everything's ready to roll. They just haven't broken ground on that yet, but it's quick turnaround.
Excellent. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, well, very good. Thank you so much for yet again another awesome report out. And OKRs are absolutely part of your evaluation, which you and I will discuss over a coffee in the next week or so. So,
Wonderful. Thank you.
yes, thank you so very much. Ms. Karen, you've got the next agenda item. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Molina. Monthly updates we usually provide each month, but they'll resume in August because the last one was covering summer projects and tasks. But I left it there so I don't forget. Indicators of Success program. You all were a pilot for that this past year, so it's probably not as new to you as to other schools, but I did link some information about it and the questions and the survey form from last year. But basically before September 1st, so I think at the August meeting, it's important for board members to review this, and I don't know if you want to have a special meeting, work session just for board, or how you did it last year, but we do need the board to rate themselves, rate the school rather, in several topics from a 1 to, I don't know if it's 4 or 5. Um, and again, you'll want to look at that. Any that are rated 1 or 2 make you eligible for some funding from PEC. It's all explained in that information, and I don't want to, I know this meeting's gone late, so I'm not going to take a lot of time now, but I think I will assign the board to review that for the next meeting, and maybe you have a closed session even to just rate that so we can submit it by September 1st. It is not evaluative. If you gave yourself all ones, they just would be like, oh, how do we help? It does not even go to the PEC. They don't see the responses, only CSD staff do. And it is to drive support and areas that you might need an improvement. So don't be shy to not give yourself the 4 or 5 or give the school a 4 or 5 in an area where we have a weakness. Okay? So
Absolutely.
is that
And this was covered at that, yeah, this was all covered at that dinner that Dottie, Heather, and I attended earlier this year. So yeah, now they're just delivering on what they promised in the late winter, early spring. So yeah, it'll be great. And we are very interested in participating because we want to get some of that grant money so that we can hold a proper retreat. So we are very interested, and we should definitely book this for the next meeting. Absolutely.
okay? And just so you know, all state charter schools are required to do it this year, and it is due September 1st in Epicenter. So I'll work with you to make sure that gets done and uploaded. So
Done.
I will put it on
We
the August agenda.
cool. Perfect.
And then we also have an annual assurances to PEC that are also due. That's based on your charter contract performance, and you've done this before. I have it under updates and reminders just to alert you and maybe give you some reading before the next meeting because we will have to um, confirm and sign that we are complying. If you recall last year, one of the things I didn't even know we needed was some water safety in our handbook or
Yes.
in our enrollment packet. I added it to the handbook, and so we can talk about that, but it's basically reviewing all the compliance requirements and then the board confirming that we are assuring that we are complying with those things. And I will be sure to point out any that are I think weak or missed, and like we did last year, and we'll get that taken care of. Again
Okay.
for August,
Yep.
yes, Chair? Okay. And then
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
I just wanted to announce that the sale of the school vehicle is completely complete. The owner has the
Yay.
vehicle, the school got the money, all is done. That's just hey, it's done. Um,
Yay.
And the last thing is, of course, governing board training. All of you did what you were required to do, and in many cases more than for last year, but we start the clock all over again. So 5 more hours this year for returning members, except for Heather because she won't be here long enough. And that's it for me. Thanks.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Any questions for Miss Warner, gang? Thank you so very, very much. Awesome. Yep, I've got to put that on my calendar to get those done at lunchtime. All right, I'd like to open up the agenda for board comments. Dottie, Heather, any comments?
I just would like to thank Miss Anderson for her service this past year, and I really enjoyed getting to know you and work with you on the facilities committee, and you will be missed.
Thank you.
And
I will miss all of you as well. It's been great to work with all of you. I'm impressed with all of the work that all of you do.
we do get you next month, right? You will be here next month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good, good, good. So yes, I echo that 100%. You have been a blessing on this committee or on this board and council, and you will definitely be missed. So wonderful. Well, my comments are lather, rinse, repeat. I cannot thank all of you for your service every second Tuesday of the month and all the other days between these meetings. Your dedication, hard work, diligence, and enthusiasm are overwhelming to a humble little guy like me. And I'm absolutely the weakest link on this board. I stand among giants. So thank you all for your continued service and dedication to such a worthy school and environment for our families and students. So thank you all. Having said that, let's move on to public comments regarding anything not on the agenda. I don't see anybody in our attendees gallery, but we'll open the session and we will close the session. All right. Our next meeting is Tuesday, August 11th at 5:30 p.m. And let us adjourn this meeting at 7:33 p.m. Again, thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Good night.
Appreciate it.
Good night, all.